Hi, I'm Tammy. Thank you for joining us today. And this is my grandson, Blake.
Hi.
So we just wanted to go over a few things with you. The type of paints we're going to be using are acrylics. And you can use the type in a jar or you can use the type in a tube. As long as it says acrylic, it's good for you to use. And for the background, you can choose your own color. I chose pink and Blake chose blue. You could do purple, you could do green, you could do gold. I wouldn't choose black or white because then the trees wouldn't show up. Brushes. The types of brushes that we're going to be using mostly is a flat brush like this. Make sure it has a nice clean edge on it, and a round brush that comes to a point. For the overall basic color that you're putting on, just any big brush. Now this brush is a Mangold Well-Loved brush, and we're using that just for the little foliage at the bottom of the trees. Sticks. So clean your brushes with water. Have a jar of water there. After every color, don't let the paint dry or you'll get a mangled brush like I have here. Which, don't throw them away because they do come in very handy for things. But keep your brush clean with water. At the very end, when you're done painting, that's when you can take it to the sink and put soap in it and then rinse it out and get them nice and clean that way. And last but not least, if you get behind, you can pause it and then just start it back again when you catch up. Happy painting! Thanks for joining us.
To look at you.
Yes. Down. Is it going? Okay. So, this is the picture we're going to be painting, but it's a simple painting. Anybody can do this. You get to choose your background though. I chose a pale pink. What color do you think you're going to want?
Probably like me.
Choose sky blue. So we're gonna put our paint on the palette. There you go. I didn't see it coming out. And I would grab the big brush there and load your brush. So you're gonna put the paint on both sides because you're gonna be painting with both sides of your brush. There you go. So, good job. Notice how you go this way, then flip it over to go backwards. I guess you're gonna need more paint. Where'd the tape go? Why don't you do that? And I'll go get some more tape. We're having technical difficulties here. Oh, here's the tape. I brought the duct tape. Oops. Ignore my hand. Oh no, I think that will stay. Yeah, it's going.
You don't want to cut a lot of that.
It's real life, Blake. That's what painting's like. You make do with what you got. And we're using acrylic paints. And when you are doing this, you always want to make sure you're letting the brush go the direction that your bristles are going. So you don't want to smush the paint in and damage your brush. Need some music in the background. So you want to be sure, just like Blake's doing, that you're covering all the bits in the canvas. Nothing worse than little white polka dots ruining your picture with the canvas poking through. There. There you go, great. Okay, now we're actually going to take a break for about 5 minutes. And if you're in a really big hurry, you can get your hairdryer out and dry it with your hairdryer. But we're just going to take a break and come back when this is dry. Now we're going to go ahead and add our trees. We need just a little bit of the white. We're going to use a smaller brush with a flat edge so we can get a nice straight edge on our trees.
Is there a specific way I should look at that?
No, you're doing fine. Make sure you have paint on both sides. I would turn the brush this way and go up with one side, up with the other side, and then fill in the middle. especially if you used a darker color, you want to make sure you might need a couple of coats to make sure that the blue doesn't show through, or the green, or the orange, whatever background color you decided to use.
It's going to look more focused and striped.
You may need another coat. One good thing about painting trees is it doesn't matter if they're exactly straight up and down. You're doing a great job. This tree is nice and straight and the other one's not as straight, and that's kind of cool. Because nature isn't exactly going to look like a telephone pole straight. There you go. Okay, we're just gonna sit. You can get your hair dryer again and dry it more quickly. And then probably we're gonna put a second coat on it. Okie doke, see you in a few minutes. So you can see the blue is kind of thin, so we're going to go ahead and put another coat on it. Yeah. And it's okay if it's not exactly smooth because we're doing trees and trees are not smooth. Don't worry about that because we've got limbs to go off the side too, so we'll just stick a limb right there. And now we wait some more, let it dry. So we're going to, we think the black is going to be too dark, so we're going to mix it together a little bit. But you want to make sure you don't have dried paint, because I did that and made a mess. And what do you think? Maybe a little more. I'm gonna get gray instead of the white, since the white's all a round brush that has yeah, I'd do the smaller one, because we're going to be making our marks on our tree, and the branches. Let me slide this under there real quick. So there's bigger spots, there's also littler spots. So we want to have a brush that has a fine tip to make those. I didn't do it enough. Okie dokie. Just one thing is where you have this mistake. If you put a branch on there, and you want your branches coming out of the tree and going up towards the sky, not straight out. And you also don't want them exactly straight. You want them kind of bendy and crooked. I would make a few of them going, not just spots, but like lines and creases too, because that's what the birch tree is kind of known for. There you go. And anytime you're putting spots on things, you want to make sure you're not even. You don't want to put them in equidistance apart, because that's not what they turn out like in nature. Now this tree is interesting because it has a huge black spot, but you don't have to have your tree to have that huge black spot if you don't want it. Now, as you go out, you will also want to come up so that you wind up. Let me use the brush, I'll just use it over here. So you push down and then come up as you come out, and then you can just use the tip and make those tiny little ends of your branch. But you might need more paint. And make them wiggly too, so they look like nature. Let's dip this brush in the water and drip on the picture, and then just make the paint just a little bit looser, And that way, I think it might be easier for you to get that finer edge for the end of your branch. Ah, see? So if your paint is not doing what you want it to do, just add a little water to loosen it up some. So you can make as many branches as you want. And try to make them wiggly because they're not straight up and down. I would try to have an uneven number of branches because things in nature don't tend to be even. Oh, I like that. Good. You can always dip it in water if you think it needs just a little, needs to flow a little bit better. Try at the ends just to barely touch down so it's not quite such a blunt ending there. Maybe a little bit more water to make it flow. Because it seems like, ooh, it kind of looks like leaves there. I kind of like that. There you go. That's right, add a little more water. And roll the brush. Oh, you're not using the one I used. That's why you're having a harder time. Where is it? Ta-da! See how this one's got a much finer point? Yes. This one's great for doing this part of the branch, but when you want the tiny points, and then you can roll it and keep it making a nice point. when you're making that, see how my brush is behind my hands? I'm not going to do it on your painting, I'm going to do it right beside. So your hand goes before the brush does, and then you can make your tiny little branches, rather than trying to with the yeah. There you go, good. Helps when you have the right brush, doesn't it? I like how they go, I like they start one way and then they bend and then they go a different direction. So it makes a big difference which brush you're using. If your brush is just rounded at the top, like this one is, you're not going to be able to get the fine ends of your branches. For that, you need a brush like that one that actually comes to a fine point. Or even, I mean, this one's like if you were doing really fat branches, but see how it comes to a fine point? So this is the brush you want to use for branches. Kind of looks like it needs more water to me again.
Because it dries out.
It just does, and you want to be able to just barely touch it and have it the paint flowing off. And once it starts getting dry and you get these things, that's just your key. Oops! Add a little more water and load my brush up. up into the air to get that smaller point. Yeah. Nice. Okie dokie. Now we're going to switch brushes. This is an old brush. Is it in the screen? So it's kind of frayed at the end. And that's perfect for what we're going to do next. So we're going to, we kind of want drier paint, not wetter paint. Just get a little bit on the edge, and we're going to kind of just tap to make
Rocks.
I was thinking more of the line of foliage, weeds. So we're going to put those down here. You can cover up that white spot. You can make it one lower to the ground and one higher up. Let's start with the dark color, and then we'll add other colors on. I'm sitting at an angle, so they're all gonna look like they're sideways. But this, you don't want to load your brush like you load the other. You want it to just barely get paint on your brush. Yeah! Kind of make it on a little hill. There you go. So Blake, you said you were taking an art class at school too? Mm-hmm. Good.
When you're doing tapping stuff, you want to get it in the paint And then just do one tap out of the,
You want to tap enough out so that you don't have a lot of paint.
like those.
Yeah, you don't want a lot of paint because you don't want those circles like that for grass. You want, or for foliage, you want just smushy.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then the other side needs it. The other tree needs it, I mean. Good. Wipe it off, don't wash it off. And we're gonna get some green. Just a little bit. Oh, it comes out more than I want it to.
Do the same thing.
And dribble the green off of the black a little on the edges, the outside edges. And if you can make one of your hills look like it's comes forward and one of your hills look like it's behind more, that will add a little bit of interest. It'll
How would I
add,
do that?
so you want like this one to be up front, so it's gonna maybe come down. Whoops, you don't barely have any paint on there. It's gonna come down here and then maybe make this one end like behind it. Yeah. And I actually think that green right there, wipe off your brush and get a little bit black of black and add a little bit of the black right in there. Ah! Yeah, you want to have just barely enough paint to go from one place to another, but that's okay. You can get more green and make it speckly. I wouldn't fill them all in, but I'd fill in that spot. But if you're the type of person that you don't like this look, this is kind of a, what is it called, beignet. So the painting doesn't go all the way off to all the corners. You're just kind of painting in the middle. If you don't like that style, then you can make it go all the way to the end if you want. Sorry, I didn't mean to kick you. What do you think? I think it needs a little brown. But if you're like, no brown for me, you know. What do you think? You like it? Time to call it done? Okay. You gonna turn it off?